people go into this and they're like, yes, I want to buy rental properties and have my cash flow exceed my expenses, and then I'm out of the rat race and all those things. But then you hit different points along the way where you're like, what I'm doing right now is not going to continue to work.
If I would scale, it would break me right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I have to build something or do something different in order to make that next jump. Right now, like my wife will keep telling me, she's like, it's okay to have peace, because right now we're working on, because I'm stir crazy because I want, let's go buy another deal, let's do this. Like I'm that type, and she's like, hey, since I met you, this is the first time we've actually had some peace, some calm in the storm. Because when she met me, I was on my like 9th or 10th house hack. So
that is insane. I mean, this is the most we've ever heard in 300 episodes.
Welcome to the Kash and Dash Show with Owen Dashner and Ted Kaasch and Amber.
There we go. So Dylon Leslie in the house. I got to say, man, I am a little disappointed that I haven't been able to dig up anything on you online. You are kind of a digital ghost. No LinkedIn profile.
no.
What's up with that?
Did you do the background check?
I did not.
Okay.
See, that's why. He could be a convicted
That's
felon.
A
We
great
don't know.
starting spot is the background check.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Oh, right. Okay. I didn't even think
Have you
about
been
that.
forewarned before?
I know.
Oh, it brings up some fun stuff.
So, Dylon, you first came on my radar about, I don't remember how many years ago, but I was doing a little light stalking of a 12-unit property in Council Bluffs,
Yes.
right up by the former Mall of the Bluffs area. And I was talking to the owner over and over and over again, just checking in. And next thing I know, Leslie Properties LLC is the new owner of that.
Yeah.
So I kind of have a bone to pick with you on that property. How is that, by the way? Do you still own it?
Yeah. Still own it. You know, it's going good.
How'd you get it?
Because he would already turned it and gone up.
Yeah,
You were putting some love into it, I bet.
Yeah, I had to put a lot of.
it was a lot of work.
Yes, I mean, I didn't know what I was getting into. You know, I was single family before this, so taking on that type of project early on in my investing career.
I remember they were all 2-bed, 1-bath units, if I remember right, with
Yes.
with a garage underneath. They're almost like row house style
Yes,
with balconies. They overlooked what was the mall at the time.
Yep.
Good spot,
Mhm.
east end of Council Bluffs. And I was like, wow. And then I looked up what you bought it for, and I'm like, that son of a. So you got a good deal. How did you even get that? Let's start with that.
So I was driving along, looking at properties, like driving for dollars, and I came across the owner where I was just Facebook stalking.
Facebook?
And, yeah.
You reached out to her through Facebook.
Facebook. Well, come to find out, she has family that lives close by to where I'm originally from.
Which
so,
is?
Spalding, Nebraska.
I did find that.
Yep.
Worked in the Spalding Irrigation
That's my
Company.
dad.
I know,
right?
right?
That's your dad?
That's my dad's dealership. Yep.
Oh, okay. So what is, all right, we'll come back to the
I never heard of
12
Spalding,
unit.
Nebraska. Just
Yeah.
so you know.
I haven't either. How far away is that?
About 3 hours.
3 hours to like Kearney-ish
Maybe
area?
about an hour north of Grand Island.
All right. So Nebraska, you are from there originally. Your dad owned the company. You worked in the company.
Yep.
And did you get fired?
Yeah. Yeah. Since
Dad?
Yeah. He basically said I'm probably the worst employee.
Did he really?
Yeah. He's like, you gotta go find something that fires you up. He's like, your head's here, or you're here, but your head's not here.
What were you? Okay. So family business.
Yep.
And what was your job? And like, was this?
I was just a service tech.
Okay.
You know, I just fix.
Right out of high school? Or you had college too?
Well, right out of college, basically.
Okay.
So I went to college for like a semester
Semester.
at UNK.
I lasted a year there.
More than me. So
You guys you guys can swap your continuing ed stuff, maybe combine them
Guarantee
into
you
one
my
group.
Kearney stories beat your Kearney stories any day.
yeah.
Fun fact, I will actually be in Kearney this weekend for 3 days. Yeah, at a wedding.
Can't,
There you
spell,
go.
can't spell flunk or trunk with you out UNK.
That's correct.
Hey guys, this is Ted with the Kash and Dash Show. Please like and subscribe to our podcast. I gotta get back to this Rio group. Everybody say hi. Yeah!
All right, so Spalding Irrigation, you were a maintenance tech-ish, and you decided that wasn't your jam.
No. So I was still working for my dad at the time, but I started with single family houses. About my first house.
How though? Like, I mean, what was your family into real estate?
No. My dad's a farmer. So he has the irrigation and then he farms on the side.
Okay.
So I was just helping out with that as I got out of college and bought my first house 2013.
2013.
Yep.
And you are, how old are you? You're 32.
So I'd have been 20.
So 13
almost.
Jeez. So you got started when you were 20 years old in real estate.
Well, it wasn't a rental. It was kind of like I had roommates. So it was like a
House hack.
house hack. You know, that's what it came to be.
Mhm.
And
Was it in Kearney?
No, this was in Spalding,
It was
Nebraska.
in Spalding. Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know if you were going to college and then.
Yeah, because I had roommates in college. I was like, well, shoot, I'll just get a roommate. So it helped with
the bills.
Well, yeah, it
Yeah.
eliminated my biggest expense, which was housing.
Did you have any deadbeat friends that are like, oh, I'll get you next week, man?
I didn't run into that. No.
No?
I mean, luckily.
Big
That's
house
good.
parties though.
That no.
He was like,
He's a
yeah,
tough,
we have
he's
a
a
party,
tough landlord.
but he's like running around like, no,
No.
keep careful, don't spill. Put
Yeah.
a coaster underneath
Well,
that.
Well, see, the issue I ran on early on was, I was just collecting the cash. So I wasn't able to claim it as income early on so I can get that professional real estate status so I could keep on doing this. Because it was easy to save down payments because I was saving money at a pretty good clip, not having a housing payment, but getting the financing, my debt to income.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I had to restart.
When you first bought that, knowing what you know now, what did you do wrong?
Everything. Let my friends move in with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when you bought it, so I assume you bought it in your own name, right?
Yeah.
And you collected cash. Did you know what you were doing? I think the statute of limitations for tax evasion is probably passed by now. Don't quote me on that. But so you're collecting cash.
Yeah.
And you didn't know about the debt to income thing.
Yep.
Reporting it. So that kind of put a little bit of a brake on your ability to grow more quickly, right?
Yes.
That's what happened.
And that's so because I ended up doing it 5 times. So
House hacking?
House hacking.
Wow.
With single family homes.
Yeah.
So from 2013 to 2019. So that's 6 years. So it took about 6 years of doing that.
Do you still own all those?
No. So the only one I own is the one in Council Bluffs.
Got it.
So in my hometown. So think of, is it Clint Blackburn?
Blackburn. Yeah.
Blackburn.
Chops.
Yep. Chops.
Yep. So think of those types of properties like town of 300,
Yep.
17 grand for a house. Like I said, it was nothing too crazy. But they rented for $400 or $500 a month. So it didn't take a lot to get started.
What was the lowest price house that you've ever bought?
17,000.
17. So it was 17. Okay. So
Yeah.
I thought you were just throwing that out there.
No.
17K. So you basically could pay that off in a year. I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
Or did you buy cash?
No, I did 5% down with the local bank there.
But how bad a condition was that house?
I moved
Shut
in.
up.
Yes. You understand the town of 300 properties didn't move. Well, looking back, I wish, it turned like 3 times because I sold it to my brother afterwards and then he sold it. So it moved 3 times. It sold for 80,000.
Okay.
The last time it sold.
My first investment house I bought, I think was 11,000.
11. Yeah. That was the condemned one.
Yeah.
With all the squatters and randos living in there.
Yeah, I was getting them for 7 years.
Yeah.
And I put like 90 into it roughly,
Yeah.
but it turned out really well.
I still cannot believe that was your very first deal, was basically something that you had to shell with squatters.
I felt really comfortable because
Condemned.
But that was for 5 to 6 years as an investor agent helping people find those properties. So I felt
You're
very
seeing it all the time.
Yeah, at that time I did almost 400 deals.
Plus, I guess it's 11 grand. So, I mean, you can't even
Can't
buy.
go wrong.
Yeah. You can't even buy a motorcycle for that now, right?
I mean, I felt very confident that I could have just cleaned it up, patched a hole in the roof, and I probably could have sold that thing for about
Wholetailed it?
80,000 right then.
Do you wish you would have?
No, I made way more than that.
Did you?
Yeah.
What do you think you profited?
150,000.
Wow.
I mean, if I had just throw a number out there without breaking all the numbers down.
Yeah.
I mean, between it being a rental and an Airbnb, and then I ended up selling it for $225.
Yeah, that's pretty stout.
And,
Yeah.
and I had it for like 3-4 years.
So your brother bought it from you, or was it from you, or he ended up buying it somewhere after you?
He
owned
bought it from me. Yeah.
Okay. How much did you sell it to him for?
25,000.
25. All right. So you made $8 grand in profit after
Yeah.
how long?
Probably held that thing for 4 years, probably.
Okay. And it cash flowed obviously.
Yeah. And
Pretty tough not to cash flow.
And so, at the time I was like, well, I felt like I needed to get into different markets because rent's 400, how's there 2? I needed to, if I'm going to create financial freedom, I need to feel like I needed to get into different, bigger markets. So I did that, bought a house in Grand Island, Lincoln, and then the plan was Omaha, but somehow got lost and
you got your GPS accidentally took you to Council Bluffs, and you're like, oh, this doesn't look bad.
because I was approved for like 70 grand at the time, FHA, and so that's where I was shopping, and I was like, well, Council Bluffs is where I guess I felt comfortable.
Okay,
I've been hearing more and more Iowa investors lately. It's like a thing right now.
it's it's a place to grow.
Yeah.
Ted. Yeah.
It's a place to grow.
So, all right, we kind of skipped over something here, though. Like, how did you come up with this plan when you're 19, 20 years
Well,
old? Your dad wasn't in it. Your family wasn't in it. Did you have a friend? Did you read stuff? What was the deal?
What's that seed, that motion?
Brandon Turner, basically. YouTube Academy.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you find that?
Bigger pockets. Yeah. I was just looking up because when I was doing,
You're like, how can I make something more out of what, basically how can I create financial freedom? And then you start Googling stuff and
I found out what I was doing was actually called house hacking.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, holy cow, there's an actual strategy to this. And so I just try to put it to play.
I love this.
Yep.
That's kind of how Tucker Pinion's story in way back in the archives, when he got started 19, he bought it in a college town. I think he also bought it for 20 or 17,000. I think, right? 17 or 19.
Yeah, it was cheap. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kind of got my wheels going is when I was in college, I was roommate with like 5 dudes and we're paying rent to someone that's not much older than us. So it's like, what the heck?
No kidding.
There's something here.
Why did you end up selling those? Was it just because you wanted to buy something closer to where you were going to end up living?
Well, I forgot what book I was reading at the time, but I think it was called like Set for Life by Scott
Set
Trench.
for Life. Yep.
And, Brandon Turner talks about it too, where, focus instead of being like chasing the shiny object syndrome kind of.
Lease options, flipping, rentals, short-term rentals.
And when I looked at my portfolio, it was easy to manage. I had 5 houses, but I knew I needed to get focused on one market, one location, one neighborhood, one asset class.
I was thinking about this the other day. There's kind of defining, you create core memories throughout your life that you always can remember pretty vividly. Generally something either traumatic happened or something really kick-ass happened to you, or just something that was just a really standout moment. Did you have anything where something happened after you got into real estate where you're like, oh man, I didn't know about this. I'm kind of in over my head. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was?
It was when I went from 5 single family homes and in less than like 6 months to 40.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So it went from 2019. So it's 2019
I
happened.
wasn't expecting to hear that.
Yeah. Because I did a 1031 on all, because 2019 is when I made the decision that I was going to transition into the Council Bluffs market. And I guess my point was like, well, Omaha is the metro. That's the closest property I have towards the metro. So I was like, all right, let's go Council Bluffs. And I picked small multifamily is what I wanted to get into. So built a relationship with some realtors and did some driving for dollars, looking around, contacting owners and seeing if I can get stuff lined up. And 1031. And then, so that was 2019 when I made the decision. Well, 2020 happened.
Oh,
so
there's no playbook.
I was
for
like,
2020.
I'm kind of, and then, as time went along, I was like, holy cow, the portfolio almost doubled in value.
Yeah.
Like, let's get these things listed. You're seeing cash offers over asking. And so, and then,
that time was bananas.
yeah. And now I look back, I'm like, man, maybe I should have held on and just refied.
Here's what
So you sold them all?
Sold all of them except for the Council Bluffs house. So 4 houses and then 1031 into the apartments here in
But
Council
you made a
Bluffs.
ton of money off 40 houses. You had to.
No, not 40 houses. 5 single family homes.
Yeah.
And then 40 units. 40
units.
Yes.
Got it.
So, yep.
Yep. So you basically leveraged a pretty cheap portfolio of houses, sold that 1031 into a 12-unit property. That, by the way, that's a good property. Or is that what happened?
So the first 1031 was into a package of a duplex and 4-unit.
Okay.
And then the next 1031 was into a 6-unit.
You still own that?
Still own them. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I had to sell the 2 houses in Spalding as well because it was only like 20 grand. So, but for the 12-unit, what we did is, I was looking for a property. So I ran out of money basically because I was, as I was house hacking the houses, I was also house hacking the apartments. So I'd pop into them, air mattress, 60-gallon totes from Home Depot, and just go in the empty unit and turn them. And
were you sleeping there?
I was sleeping there. Yeah.
Oh man, this is great.
Yeah.
I love the grit.
Yes.
Right? I can't believe how fast you grew. I don't hate on you for, selling them off during that time. I mean, you're probably making big plays and it got you where you're at now.
Yeah. Because I think the cash flow is maybe like $2,000 a month out of the 5 houses.
Okay.
Of net. And so, yeah, I was like, it's time to make a move. And I was like, I need to get focused. I don't know what book I was reading at the time, but it's like light bulb. I'm like, all right, I got to focus and go deep with something.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose Council Bluffs and 1031 into there. And like I said, I was like, well, I house hack these houses. Like, let's, there's an empty unit. Let's pop in and do the same thing. I didn't get a roommate with me, but I was playing musical chairs basically.
Hey, let me ask you something. Maybe I can ask both you guys, but Dylan, let's start with you. Okay. So you 1031, which is basically a tax deferred exchange. Mm-hmm. So you trade you sell some properties. The money that you get out of the sale would normally just go into your checking or
savings
account.
Touch it.
but that will instead go to a title company and they hold it in escrow until you identify a property that you're going to buy with. And there's some, we won't get into the weeds on it, but there's time constraints on it. You got 45 days to identify up to 3 properties and then 6 months to close on them, right?
Yep.
How do you know when the right time to do that is? I'm curious what your take is. And I have a theory on this, but I want to see what you have to say.
Gosh, at the time, for me, it felt like I just needed to grow. I wanted to quit my job. That was the main thing getting into this, is I did not want to work for someone.
Okay.
So I was like, I need to create more cash flow.
Yep.
And I was like, well, smaller apartments, I felt like that was the way to go.
Yep. Man, this tracks, man. This is similar to my origin story.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I do have a question for you, Asset. Like, you mentioned the small town.
Yep.
Now that it's been almost a decade since you started that, have you looked back at the small town options for investing?
I mean, I guess that's why I resonate with Blackburn so much. Clint, like he plays in that game a lot, and I'm like, gosh, I look back, I'm like, wow. Because my aunt and uncle, they buy a lot of properties in that smaller community, and they're having lots of success with it.
And so what advice would you give somebody that maybe listen to this that wants to invest into a smaller town?
I mean, don't look past it. It's probably an easy way to get into entry, but much easier path than just jumping into like the metros or the bigger markets.
Because I mean, the one thing for me that seems very attractive to this, and I haven't done this, it just seems like there's less oversight.
Oh yeah.
You don't have the city inspections. You don't have to deal with a lot of the politics.
No.
You probably don't have to pull permits in some towns.
Yep. And see, the biggest barrier to entry is like just getting started. And so that's a perfect way to get started, going to a smaller town, maybe in Iowa or wherever you're at, just to get an entry, like just get into the game. That's the biggest thing.
You mentioned Brandon Turner a few times there, and it sounds like he and his content were a key part of your early learning. I remember him specifically saying, and I resonated with this, in any city in really the United States, you could have Los Angeles, you could have New York City, you could have, San Francisco. Within 2 hours of a drive of any major city, you are going to be able to find smaller town options where you can buy things that are way more affordable than you could find 2 hours away. So that was his whole thesis, is like, if that's your excuse, I live in a high cost of living area, I can't afford to buy a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,000 square foot house for $500,000-$600,000 because the numbers don't work. Mm-hmm. But he's like, drive 2 hours, open up your buy box and look at small towns. So do you think that holds true now, knowing what you know? And maybe we could do this. We've already talked about the benefits of it, but what are the drawbacks? So let's pro-con this a little bit. You're getting started in small towns. Your entry point is low. You already talked about that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I just had to get in where I could fit in. But I wasn't making short song. Yeah. I think my most I made at W2 was like 28-30 grand. So that was my only option. But the drawback is definitely, I felt like maybe tough to find tenants sometimes, because of the population. But I guess I never had much issues. But probably a conversation I need to have with my uncle. I don't know how many. I think they have close to 60 units or houses down there.
Is this because of you?
Actually,
because you said nobody invested.
I mean, it kind of started around the same time almost. Okay. Yeah.
I didn't know if you inspired them.
It's a race.
Yeah, it was
accumulate the most units. little family competition. I like it.
So who's winning right now?
They are, for sure. Yeah.
Well, now, okay, so small towns. I grew up in a town about 10 minutes from where Clint Blackburn lives and grew up and buys and all that. Mm-hmm. I purposefully avoided buying in my backyard because one of the drawbacks is everyone knows you.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
And I don't like people all up in my business, And so that was one reason. But another reason is
you also didn't want to be elected mayor.
No.
Yeah.
What I don't like about small towns still is when the market is tougher, like when a rising tide lifts all ships is something that a lot of people say. When the market is going up, it drags up tougher parts of town that typically aren't going to appreciate as much because stuff gets less and less affordable. So people gravitate toward more affordable areas. Therefore, those prices are going to go up because of scarcity. Small towns, when times get tough, it can get tougher to collect rent. People lose jobs, those kind of things. And it's much tougher to sell. That was one thing that I always, in hindsight, I wish I would have probably bought more there.
Yeah. But
there aren't as many buyers.
Yeah,
there's jobs, no jobs in smaller towns, a lot of rural areas.
And it's a farming community. So, the farmers feel the pinch, then, that.
Yeah, you could have somebody that is renting from you that gets fired by their dad that worked at an irrigation company. They can't pay rent anymore. No, I'm kidding. But that was. I do find this interesting though, because what do you think right now? If we timestamp this, you were talking about basically 2019, like pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think those same houses would cost now? You mentioned 80,000 was what the last one traded hands at that you schlepped to your brother.
Yep.
And so is that kind of where we're at? So it's done basically a 4X in 7 years.
That's what it's over there.
That's bananas.
Bonkers. Yeah, and it rents now for close to probably I think 800-900 now.
Yeah, and it was, you said 4 or 5 at the time. That's the other drawback with smaller towns is the entry price point is always going to be less than larger cities. But the rents are also going to adjust because, incrementally the same way. Mm-hmm. So you can't crank out as much rental income as you can in a bigger city, but your entry point is going to be much less.
Yep.
So yeah, there's trade-offs with all that. But it is a very good way if you live near, and especially since we're located in the Midwest, there's a lot of smaller towns around here, a lot of farming communities. It's easier to buy in, at those price points. Mm-hmm. The other downside is there's a lot less newer housing stock in those areas. You're not going to go drive around and find 10 different subdivisions that have split levels built in the 80s and 90s. They're all probably smaller homes. 2-bed, 1-bath is a very common footprint.
Early 1900s.
Yep. They're kind of like Cracker Jack boxes, 800 square feet. So that's another reason why they're tougher to transact or sell or rent, especially if you have a growing family, right?
In 1900 might be a stretch. I remember when I did foundation, especially in this state, there's a lot of 1800 homes. I remember, I can't tell you how many homes I saw that actually had physical rocks as the foundation.
Yeah.
with mortar in between.
Oh, sure. Stone foundations.
Stone walls, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember his name. It's someone in my hometown. One of the churches that are abandoned, he's turning it into their house.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get Shay Spitz did that in Columbus, and she had a lot of blowback from the neighborhood.
Yeah, no,
she did not like that.
She made an Airbnb, but she made it a badass Airbnb.
Oh, you see, he's doing the progress like through his Instagram, and it's pretty darn cool. Let's watch that.
Quick soundbite. There's a guy that was a year ahead of me in high school. His name is Zach Jones, and he still lives in Malvern, where I'm from. Mm-hmm. He bought the Baptist church there. There were 2 churches, Methodist and Baptist, and he bought the old Baptist church because it was probably built in the late 1800s. It had been around forever. They're big, right? I mean, you got I don't even know what all the terms are, vestibule, whatever they are. And he put a ton of money into it, and he called it Project Art Church.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Malvern is about 45 minutes from Omaha. It is a really, really cool. He turned it into an Airbnb, and he's an artist. So he did like, kind of the Sistine Chapel style stuff with it and cool murals and whatever. So it's a destination thing. He's making it work. Those are kind of the cool things you can do in small towns. Just make really unique experience type places with properties that most people, wouldn't be able to pull off in a larger city that has a lot more regulations.
Maybe we need to do Kash and Dash on the road.
There you go.
Just get a mobile van, kind of like the Mystery Machine.
We'll jump in my camper and then we'll go to Malvern and do a podcast tour down there.
I know. Hey, we could interview my mom. She's written some grants for the city and gotten some really cool stuff.
We'll put a banner on the side of my camper and we'll pull on up and then do an interview.
Yeah, and this picture right up here will be right on the side of it. No, that will never happen. Never happen.
Never say never.
Not in my town. So no,
by the way, if you're listening, we're going to do a GoFundMe page so we can buy a billboard in Malvern just to put up the logo.
Oh man. So this is really cool though. And now for those of you that are not living or familiar with kind of the Omaha dynamic and the geography around here, the town that Dylon's mentioned a few times, Council Bluffs, Iowa, is Omaha is right on the Missouri River. So the downtown part of Omaha literally is right on the river. On the other side of the river is Iowa. So that's a natural border for the state. If you cross the river, that's Council Bluffs, Iowa. And that population, Omaha is roughly around 1 million population for the metro area, including some of the other towns that have been annexed.
I heard we're 1,009,000 something now.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Council Bluffs, there's roughly about 70,000 population.
67, yeah.
And and we were talking about this before we hit record, but people in Omaha call Council Bluffs Council Tucky. So Omaha makes fun of Council Bluffs, and then Council Bluffs makes fun of Carter Lake, which is where I live. But I've lived in multiple. I probably lived in, I don't know, 10 different places in Council Bluffs. So over the years, and then eventually we moved to West Omaha and then back to Carter Lake.
Every time we fly a speaker into town or somebody flies in for the podcast, and I have to explain why it says Omaha, Iowa, because you're driving from the airport down one road to downtown Omaha, because I'm like, the river shifted. I don't know what the hell to tell you. And that's Iowa right there for some reason. And they're allowed to have a strip club, and then you go 5 feet away and it's Omaha.
Yeah. Anyway, so, okay, let's do this. So when
population of Council Bluffs, Iowa is 62,500, just so you know.
Yeah, but you factor in the surrounding towns, and it's actually 7. Anyway, we'll fact check that later. But here's something that I think is kind of an interesting conversation. So you're in a town that is really close to Omaha proper, and there's 62,000 people that live there. Not as many jobs, right? Not as high of an income median level, but there's some pockets of Council Bluffs that there are some very, very wealthy people that live there. Totally. It's a quiet, basically a quiet wealth area,
especially in those Bluffs area.
Or in the east side.
The east side, yeah. But now, when you were buying these things, were you buying properties in CB? You mentioned the sixplex. You mentioned you bought, I think you said a quad and a duplex together, and you bought some other stuff since then. What do you think the price point percentage difference is between Omaha proper and Council Bluffs, if you had to take a stab?
Gosh, I don't know. I would say it's significantly cheaper because that's why I moved there, but maybe 10%.
I would say it's closer to 20.
Really?
For same, right? If you're doing apples to apples, but the housing developments there are not as much as you would expect in a smaller city like that. But don't sleep on CB unless you're listening to this, because Dylan and I want to buy everything over there. So don't buy in Council Bluffs. But
Dane.
No, it's and Dane. But the rents I found are actually more like a 10% delta.
Yes.
Right. So you can still get really good rents in
taxes.
CB, and the taxes are better unless
insurance.
It's commercial. Commercial taxes are not great over there.
Yeah, we're getting spanked. But insurance as well is significantly higher in Nebraska than in Iowa for some reason.
Now, have you crossed the river with regard to buying stuff or holding or any of that?
I haven't, no. But my brother, I think he has about 30 units in Grand Island area, and like he'll tell me what his taxes are. He has less units, pays more taxes.
Really?
And insurance as well. Wow. So, yeah.
Insurance is brutal.
Yeah.
Hey, so speaking of insurance, we won't spend a ton of time on this, but we are in hail zone here. I mean, every single year, multiple times in a month, you're going to be like, oh boy, there's some hail rolling in, big storm, could be a tornado. We don't know. Right. That's the thing about the Midwest. What's your experience been with insurance? Like, do you do a lot of claims, or have you had to deal with it, or you've been pretty lucky?
Early on, we did have some claims, and we just had to take care of them in-house and get them done. But yeah, our premiums tripled or doubled afterwards.
Yeah. So speaking of in-house, what do you do for property management? You've got 43 doors.
Yep.
And do you hire a property management company? Do you handle it yourself?
I handle most of it myself. Like, I'll have subs and stuff. Like, I'll handyman and stuff I can call, but I'm the tip of the spear when it comes to maintenance and everything and leasing. I mean, this is what I do, I guess. So that saves about $40,000 a year.
Okay.
Property management. So that's basically how
I know we went back and forth, but I guess I don't really understand exactly where your portfolio is right now. To wrap my head around this.
43 units.
43, but what's that mix look like?
So a 16 unit, a 12, 6, 4, 2 duplex, and 3 houses.
Okay. So that does keep you pretty damn busy.
Yeah, it's enough there's always something to do.
At what point do you feel that you're going to, have you have like a unit count that you feel like, hey, this is the point where I need to bring somebody on?
So right now we're in the phase of like just kind of keeping things stabilized right now. And once it's stabilized, I might spend maybe 5 hours a week, because like I said, I'm not actually doing the work. I tip of the spear, take the phone calls, and building the team right now is what I'm trying to focus on right now.
I remember when we interviewed Ben Catt.
Yeah.
His growth was exponential, but I believe he said around 120 units. That was the point where he's like, I can't manage, this is the point where I need to step out and actually bring on a whole entire company, a crew, and create my own management services.
Because I feel like I'm in the middle, that middle part of like not quite enough to bring someone on, and then I'm like too much almost to handle it all myself.
Mm-hmm.
So,
are you doing any maintenance work yourself, or do you primarily
some of it
sub that out?
I sub some of it out. It just depends how I guess I feel throughout the day, but yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I really don't feel like it's going to change a lot.
you know, and like we don't have kids right now. It's just me and my wife, so we're taking it, managing the portfolio together. And
well, okay, let's talk about this. So you're pretty young to have this amount of holdings, and we haven't talked really about. You mentioned you worked for your dad's company, and that's not what you wanted to do. I think you both probably realized that. You figured out real estate was the way. Yeah. You started accumulating units. You did a 1031 exchange, get involved in multifamily. You're self-managing to conserve your expenses.
Uh-huh.
Are you able to, are you doing any other activities to generate income? Or are you able to actually just pay for lifestyle stuff with your rental portfolio?
I mean, early on, I was probably living off of like $1,500-$1,200 a month.
Yeah.
So you
were very frugal. You manage your household expenses.
I don't recommend it, but yeah, it's for some reason I was just that lazy, I guess. I didn't want to
lazy.
Yeah.
You mentioned your wife working in it though. What's her role right now in the business?
She helps with, she's not afraid to get her hands dirty either. We're doing unit turns. She'll come in and grind with me, and we'll get them done throughout the night. And
at night even.
Yeah.
Is she working full time?
She works about 3 days a week.
Okay.
Or she's
outside of this business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She does hair.
Okay.
Yep.
And then
beards.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then when you guys want to go on a vacation, who's running the business?
I am for the phone, over the phone, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. Like when I met her, it was all mailbox money.
That's the hardest thing.
Yeah. So when we go on vacation, that kind of taught me like, oh my gosh, I have nothing streamlined. Mm-hmm. I got nothing on auto pay. I got
you're getting checks and money orders and stuff.
Yes,
like that mailed
I
in
got back and it's chaos.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I got to change this, or I'm gonna run out of fuel.
Yeah.
So, and once we did that, once I transitioned to an app that kind of helped streamline this, because I was just figuring it out as I go.
Mm-hmm.
I went from 5 houses to now managing 40 units. It was a kind of like a fire hose, it felt like.
I like this conversation because you are I would describe this as there's different struggle points when you're starting to add to your portfolio and you're managing it all yourself. At what point do you think, I guess, number of units, what was your first ceiling that you hit where you're like, man, stuff started to break, and how did you push through it, or was there? Has it happened yet?
I mean, I guess nothing drastic, has happened yet, but that was like the biggest thing when I felt like when we got back from a vacation, or we got back from not being there. 40 units was
that's it. Yep.
Yeah. So I had to make some changes. I had to get an app that would get my tenants on a portal so where they can do their maintenance requests. I had to start building the team. I had to I got to get handyman on call. I have to get
electrician,
four
HVAC,
different plumbers, 4 different electricians. Because you got to have people.
Not all of them are always available when you.
No.
That's right.
So you got to go down the line. Yeah.
It's not like you can just kick the can on plumbing emergencies either.
And then
you got to have somebody that's on it.
Yeah, and then I'm learning these properties as I'm going along, because you don't know what we're getting into.
That's true.
Because you're like, well, gosh, this property has a flat roof. I got to 2 times a year at least go up there to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why I asked that question, is because people go into this and they're like, yes, I want to buy rental properties and have my cash flow exceed my expenses, and then I'm out of the rat race and all those things. But then you hit different points along the way where you're like, what I'm doing right now is not going to continue to work.
If I would scale, it would break me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I have to build something or do something different in order to make that next jump.
Yep.
And right now,
you're in the tweener spot almost.
That's what it feels like.
And I you mentioned Clint Blackburn, Chops, as we call him. He said exactly the same thing. I think he hit about 40 and his hair was on fire, because he's a doer.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you are too. You're not afraid to roll up your sleeves, and your wife jumps in and helps out. But there's only so many unit turns you can do at one time. And if you have if you have several vacancies that happen at the same time, that's where I broke, where I had about 20 and I had a full-time job. There's the
there
difference.
It is, yeah.
And I was like at a breaking point, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm like letting a vacancy take way longer than it should. I was having a hard time just managing the remodels and getting just staying on top of everything. And finally I made the decision to go third party, and I said, okay, I'm gonna start outsourcing this because I can't do this. I'm doing a bad job at everything.
Yeah.
I'm not paying enough attention to my W-2, which is my main income source. I'm not paying enough attention to the properties that I'm buying to get out of my job. So like I'm doing C- work on everything in my life. And, and I'm trying to manage all that. And I'm doing a crappy job at marriage. I'm doing a crappy job at, being a present dad. Like I had a holy crap moment where I was like, something's got to change, or this is all going to come down. And that's why I like to highlight this, because I think when you're getting started and somebody listens to this episode and they're like, man, that guy bought his first property at 20, and look at him now. And you've been able to stay out of full employment for a long time, and you're able to sustain your life.
2020, I think.
Now, do you have any, getting back to like, how do you pay the bills type of a question? You mentioned you don't flip, like you don't do any type of transactional real estate stuff, which is something that a lot of people do. Maybe they'll do a flip and then buy a rental, and you're able to manage this, and you can pay for your lifestyle and so forth.
Yeah.
And you're going to keep growing. How did you buy all of these when you had no W-2 job?
So my dad came in, was on that 12 unit.
Yep.
So he's a farmer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he had paid off farm ground.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to look for money to, I just got done with my like 11th house hack on the apartment, and I'm like, all right,
I can't do this forever.
And timestamp this. This was what, 2021. So rates are like mid threes, and I'm like, everything works. I got to find something big, and I got to find something, and I came across that property, and the bank said, we can't do this, man. Like, I just got done. I said, look what I did. I turned all these units, and, because 5 units or more, it's based off of the NOI.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't have
commercial.
I didn't have enough runway, but I was like, I doubled the rent. Rents were like 500. Now they're at 950 to 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, not enough time. So I was like, well, and then my dad came in, he had some farm ground. He's like, well, just use this. It's not being used, it's paid off. He's like,
that's like what we were talking about yesterday.
It resonated with me. I was like, that's exactly how that conversation happened. Like, well, do I have a rent uncle? Not yet. So I was like, well,
now okay, if you don't mind sharing that, like, so you're talking to your dad, and you're like, hey, I'm having a hard time with financing, and like, I have this really good deal I want to buy. And he's like, well, I have paid off farm ground. What next? Like, what did
I had to show him first that I knew what I was doing.
Sure.
I was like, he's like, are you willing, because he's
like, are you operating this the same way you were when you were working on sprinklers or irrigation?
Yeah, we just fired you, but so I was like, no, look, like,
did he come to town and like look at your projects?
When I brought up the 12 unit, he's like, let's go look what you got going on. And he's like, see.
Then he saw it.
Yeah. Well, then he's like, you're living just fine. So yeah, you're surviving. Yeah. So I was like, I'm willing to do this again. I can pop in these units and do this. He's like, all right, well.
So is he a partner now with you? Or
no, so he actually seller financed it for me now. So we took it down with farm credit.
Yep.
So that type of loan. And then, he took it down with the farm ground, and then now he seller financed it. To where now he's to where now I'm paying him 15 years, but behind closed doors, we're like, I'm still going to give you the 70 grand. God willing, you live past 15 years.
Yeah.
But thank you for helping me out through this.
That's cool. Yeah. So, oh man, I love this. And yesterday, I know for those of you that listening to this, you're probably like, what are you talking about? We had this pretty in-depth conversation at a networking meetup.
You might as well just shout it out at this point.
And Caffeine and Cap Rates every Thursday. And we started talking about different ways that you can basically use other people's assets as collateral, or figure out creative ways where you can put together deals instead of just coming up with a standard 20 to 25% down. You buy a deal, and now that money is stuck, and you have to leave it in there as long as it takes for you to be able to refi it out, whether it appreciates or whatever. But yeah, so you were able to leverage in a creative way somebody that knows you, likes, loves you, trusts you. And you said, hey, I know what I'm doing. Here's proof of it. You showed him basically the asset you wanted to buy. And he's like, okay, I'm in. And then he figured out a way.
Yep.
And that's what I love about your story is like there's sticking points.
Yes, there is.
In various ways along the path here. And there's breakthroughs that you make.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that deal got taken down.
Yeah. And anything I guess if you're giving advice to somebody that's considering getting into bigger properties with more doors, more people, more management difficulties, what was that like going from a duplex, maybe a fourplex was your, one of your larger unit sizes, then you go to a 12, and is it much different?
I mean, not necessarily from like duplex 40 unit, 6 unit to 12, but from single family where I was at from 2019, and then a year and a half later, I'm now with these bigger complexes. It's a lot more hassle factor.
Yeah.
And I learned that on quickly. I was like, I need to build systems. I need to build a team. Like I need to start talking to handymen, electricians, plumbers, stuff like that to help me along this. Cause
the cost got better, right? Like you're able to streamline your insurance probably.
yes. So as you hold these properties longer throughout the years, you're able to negotiate insurance, negotiate trash bill, negotiate
one insurance policy, not 40 insurance policies, right?
Yeah.
Or 12 or whatever the situation is.
Yep.
I mean,
So
that's gonna be
Yes. That is a very underrated point right there.
and see, they didn't click with me that when I first did this, I was like, oh, apartments are valued differently than single family homes. Like I was that naive. And so I was like, wait a minute. And so
there's a lot of values. I've only owned a 5 unit, so I don't know that higher level. But I mean, there's a lot of value to be able to say I have one vacant and it still survives.
Yep.
And it makes your life a lot easier that aspect. Plus, maintenance it's got to be a little bit easier to go around.
And currently, like right now, like my wife will keep telling me, she's like, it's okay to have peace, because right now we're working on, because I'm stir crazy because let's go buy another deal, let's do this. Like I'm that type, and she's like, hey, since I met you, this is the first time we've actually had some peace, some calm in the storm. Because when she met me, I was on my like 9th or 10th house hack. So
that is insane. I mean, this is the most we've ever heard in 300 episodes.
This is true though, because I mean, I remember when I was buying condemned houses, I remember 4 or 5 within the first couple of years. And my wife was like stressed the hell out because I was stressed the hell out because I was buying condemned homes that need everything. And, it's like, oh, the contractor didn't show up. The drywall didn't show up. Oh, somebody broke in and stole the front door off the house. The Nest camera is showing this and this and this. She's like, oh my God, stop, take a break.
yeah.
It's like you just got paid on that one. Just take a break. I'm like, that's not how you build.
I know. And I'm like in that between. She keeps me sane and like, hey, this is the first time we've had peace since I met you, and this is our 2nd year of marriage. Let's enjoy this time before we go crazy again.
I guess that kind of leads to one other question I have. When you guys have, you too, Owen, when you guys have all this craziness going on, like what recharges your guys' batteries? Is it a day off? Is it a trip? Is it going out for dinner? Is it buying something? Like what is it that helps recharge you guys?
For us, it's, she's pretty good at this. We go on trips.
Yeah.
We go road trip. So when we have our meetings, we try to do at least 3 trips a year, 1 out of the country and then 2 in state. It's kind of what when we have our yearly meetings and plan, like our finances, where we want to go with our marriage, what relationship we need, what stuff we need to work on. Those are the type of things we talk about.
For 2 years married, that's some great advice.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Well, we learn from other people's mistakes.
I would say for me, I would agree with that. Travel is I love travel, so I love I'd love a little less travel than I've been doing recently, but travel kind of recharges me, especially if it's a
Going
place.
to Ozark doesn't count.
Yeah, Branson.
Yeah.
No,
We have been there. That was our.
Yeah.
I'll have to check your place out.
Yeah, you should. But I love travel. What I will say though, what sucks is coming back from travel. That's sometimes you come back and it's just a firestorm. Yeah, firestorm of problems you're dealing with. And getting back to your whole point is if you have any designs on scaling to a point where Dylon is and beyond, you need to have a plan for getting systems and processes in place before you actually need them, because once you need them, it's really stressful.
Yeah.
Right. And trying to figure it out while it's like building a parachute after you jumped out of the airplane.
Yeah.
So yeah, listen from the people that have been through it and put those things in place before you think you're big enough, because you will be big enough if you have the drive and you want to keep scaling.
Yeah.
Right. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like this day, right now we're in the stage of just looking back at the portfolio, optimizing it, stabilizing it, making sure our tenants are happy, and making sure we're getting lease renewals. And yeah, that's our main focus right now with the portfolio before we decide to go any more scaling.
What do you think is next for you?
So we've talked about this before, where we want to position the portfolio. We want to still continue to maybe buy one quality single family house a year.
I like that.
And just to keep like a dollar cost average type of thing.
It's also really nice if you need quick cash to
Yes.
sell a single family.
And like,
apartments don't sell fast.
No, it's like a big old ship, and you're going to sell it to someone looking for a deal.
Yeah.
I want to buy a property, not like a junk house. I want to buy something that's I can, like you said, liquidate quickly. And for I'm thinking, and maybe you can correct me in Council Bluffs, like I'm looking for 280 to maybe 300 ARV. And the reason why we came up with that is like, what type of tenant do we want to serve and what, attract? And, as you know, they usually stay like 7+ years. And and from I'm figuring out in our portfolio is like we have a lot of turnover.
What I like about single families is, Ted, you mentioned liquidity basically. So you have the ability to sell it to an owner occupant, and
I think it's the biggest value for a real estate portfolio.
Yeah, I love a mix of having both.
Yeah.
And you can make moves if you need some quick cash, and you don't. The problem is you get to a point, especially in the Midwest, where there's some resistance on your ability to collect rent versus price. So if you pay $300,000 for a house, it's much tougher to get, the price to rent ratio that works for you. But the nice thing about buying nicer properties like that is they appreciate a lot better.
It's more of an appreciation play. And then also like, we're going to have to put a little more money down and leave money in the deal, because over here on the side of the portfolio, this is where where we're living off of our cash flow from these apartments. And so we're trying to, supplement it with kind of diversifying within the portfolio that way,
If you had to pick another asset class within real estate that you're maybe kicking around, or have you looked at other stuff like that where shiny objects have come into play?
Storage units.
Storage, self-storage.
Yeah.
By the way, June 24th, we have a RIA Mastery Series event where
coming up.
I can.
Yeah, you should.
I should. All right.
Because you're a RIA member, right? Oh, not a RIA member.
I don't know.
Oh,
No.
Ted.
But if you are, it's only $150.
Okay. A year
No, for the event.
for the event?
Yeah.
Okay.
All day. It's
All
going to
day.
be killer. Yeah, this guy's the best.
Send me a
Yeah, we'll give you
deal.
the information afterwards. Yeah.
Sold.
And and then hopefully John can put that in our show notes.
There we go.
Okay, storage units. Yeah, that's interesting. I like. I do love your trajectory, man. And I it's funny. I hit about 20, and I had some roadblocks. Had to figure some stuff out. Then you start, getting people that can handle stuff that you're not able to take care of. Then you feel like you're freed up a little bit, and you can make more moves. And you get to about 50, and then things shift again, and then you get to 100. It's kind of incremental like that.
Yeah.
And then you start hiring full-time staff, or at least figuring out who your good subs are that you can dispatch and handle things. Do you think you're going to continue? Are you going to hire basically somebody to manage your stuff, but you're going to pay them directly? Or do you think you're ever going to go with third party? What are your thoughts?
I mean, probably not third party, but I'd probably, we've been kind of talking about maybe it's like a 3 to 5 year play, but, we talked about selling off the smaller apartment complexes. And I'd love to get your advice on this, is to transition into like a one complex type of building so that we can have an on-site, maybe not property manager, but like a maintenance person type of thing.
I never really thought about it this way until you were talking. Probably halfway through our conversation here, you said I'm at 43 doors, and I don't really feel like that will sustain bringing on somebody to manage the portfolio. There's not enough cash flow for you and them and everybody else, right?
I think it kicks off about 16. I have on average about 16,000 a month.
Okay,
net.
Yep. Wow, that's pretty strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would agree with you. It's kind of like when you're looking at a larger multifamily property, you buy those mid-size ones, and those will not be able to sustain a full, like an on-site property manager until you hit about 100 doors, right? You buy a complex of 100 doors, then you can payroll somebody and have them be on-site, do leasing and stuff like that. And maybe a maintenance person or half of a maintenance person. Yeah. But it's kind of similar to your own portfolio. Like you get those points where you're at 43 and it's like, I can't really afford to bring on full time. It's kind of a struggle bus area.
Yes.
But when you push through that, you buy your next deal or your next couple of deals that are a little bit bigger, then you might be able to hire somebody just to handle your stuff. And then you can breathe a little easier, go on vacation, that type of thing.
A lot more stress though. because 100 units is going to be somewhere, depending on the area, it's going to be somewhere from $5 million to $10 million, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Depending on what you're buying.
That's a huge down payment. unless you bring in partners. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely gonna have to sell off a handful of stuff to move into that.
I mean, on the apartment side, like
unless your dad can put another farm lease.
The financing, you can't beat that on farm ground. For some reason, they just love financing farm ground.
Because farmers pay.
I guess.
Yeah. You get small town banks, especially, and I love small town banks. Do you find the same thing? Do you go? Is that kind of your jam?
That's kind of where I'm at right now. Yep.
And are you to a point where you're looking at taking a big swing at something next as your move? Or
not right now.
Just kind of sticking with what
right
you know?
now is like focusing on stabilization, seeing what we can improve on the properties. Like we could add maybe washer and dryers to some units to compete with the competition, or just find ways to increase cash flow throughout the portfolio.
Yeah, you had asked about when do you get? You said you were curious about my point of view on it. I think you were talking about basically when do you get to a point where you want to sell something and trade up, or
when you like, based off of my portfolio, like when would you think be a good time to scale?
Yeah, well, what I like to do, and I have never read this anywhere, followed anybody that's done the same thing, but I like to look at rent roll. This is assuming that one property has the same roughly operating expenses as another property percentage wise. So I always like to use a rough number of 50%. So your gross income. Now, keep in mind, I have third party property management on a lot of my stuff. So I'm going to have more expenses than you. So yours are probably more like 35 or 40, right? Is that about right?
Last year, I think 28.
28? Dang, you were in a tight ship.
It was lean, yeah.
Especially with taxes and insurance eating up a big chunk of that.
Yeah.
Okay. I like to look at 1031 activity as, can I double my rent roll without adding another dollar of my own to the deal?
There we go.
That's a great gold nugget.
So you got a $10,000 rent roll at a small multifamily or mid-sized multifamily building. Can you turn that into a $20,000 rent roll by trading?
Yes.
Like you're not bringing any more dough, and all of a sudden now, boom, you've got double your NOI.
The gross.
For no more money. That's how I look at it. So when I look at a rent roll or a T12 from a property, if I see, okay, they have a $20,000 rent roll and it's similar, class C, class B, whatever it is I'm doing, then I'll be like, I think it's time. I want to roll this 8 unit, 12 unit into a 24 or whatever. So I don't necessarily care about you alluded to this, it's valued differently, right? So it's not unit size or unit number. It's your rent roll and your NOI. That's all that matters.
Yes.
So I look at doubling my rent roll, and then if the expenses are similar, it's all going to net out the same. So I'm basically going to double my portfolio in one swap.
And being as I live off my wife and I, we live off this portfolio, it has to cash flow, keep that cash flow strong, and it makes,
what I love about 1031s too is it makes it much easier to finance. Right. So you can go out and get a loan. And if you're rolling the whole thing over, more often than not, you're probably going to be in a better position DTI wise than you were on the original purchase that you made with the trading property, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So your equity is going to transfer all the way over into the new one if you do it right. But generally, you can't make that move unless a few years have gone by. So you want the equity to the debt to get paid down.
Yeah, probably 5 to 8 years down the road.
Yeah,
for something like
could
that.
be faster though. You never know. They turn on the printing press again.
I mean, this is your story is like a true show. You did show the grind.
Yeah,
you have the growth, and you got the kids coming soon. And it sounds like you're building towards your legacy. And this is what it's all about. And I mean, holy shit, man.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, pretty impressive. I had no idea that you were doing all this. You don't talk much about it.
No,
you keep pretty quiet.
Yeah, I mean, like I brought some people to Caffeine and Cap Rates, like some local people that I connect with, and I've connected with people that go there. So
that's cool.
And so I was like, I
gotta me happy.
I gotta get involved in this.
Well, okay, I do want to ask you, in all of these things, especially considering that you've house hacked. What'd you say?
11. Yeah,
11 times.
Yeah, I think that's
that might be the new record.
I think you beat the guy that wrote the book on house hacking, which is Craig Kurlop, which we've had on here.
It actually probably is true.
It is true. Yeah, I've never met anybody that's house hacked 11. That is insane.
Maybe Ben Cat.
Maybe.
Is it considered house hacking if it's an apartment though?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
I have roommates, I guess.
Because I think for Ben, for almost 5 years he lived in his houses.
Yeah. Yeah, but 11 of them?
I don't know his number.
Okay, well, we'll research that. But what I'm curious about is, do you have any, you got to have some bananas stories or like stuff that's happened to you or you had to deal with or do as a result of that? Like anything jump to mind where you're like, yeah, this was weird.
I mean, some of the stories were like, I guess my tenants had to feel a little awkward, because like, man, we got full-time security, full-time maintenance,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Living in the building.
Knocking on the doors. Yeah. So that was kind of annoying.
Did you ever have any weird stuff happen with you're supposed to be living in the building?
Yeah. So when I was like basically playing musical chairs and then I'd have an open unit, I'd list it. Well, I had a tenant that would tell me, or that they told me that they were moving, they made a 30-day notice. Right. So, I was like, okay, so I'm lining stuff up, getting the property listed for rent.
And your wife's in the picture at this point, right?
No,
okay.
not the point yet.
I didn't know she was house hacking with you or not.
No, she wouldn't be roughing it.
I was fateful haircut had not happened yet.
Yeah,
Are you guys met at the barbershop?
That's how we met. Yes,
she thought he was a bum.
Yeah.
What? Tell me.
Oh yeah, you were in the room when we talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was, because I was sleeping on an air mattress, and I think she was coming over. We were going to take her on a date, and I told her what I did and stuff, and she's like, "I don't believe this guy. I mean, he's literally sleeping on an air mattress. His dog's in his room with him. He has plastic totes everywhere."
She's like, "Wait. You live in a homeless shelter, don't you?"
Basically. Yeah.
Dating your hairdresser is about as hard as dating a bartender. Without knowing them outside of, it's not an easy task.
No, but so I gave they gave me their 30-day notice, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to list this up for rent, kind of time it right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a week before they're ready to, they're supposed to move out, they said, hey, can we pay for another month? Something got delayed. And I'm like, I already got this apartment already rented out.
The one you were living in?
Yeah, the one I was living in. So I'm like, I have nowhere to live right now. So I was like, well, I'll stay in my truck for a few weeks.
A few weeks.
Well, I was trying to just wait it out, and like I said, I would go by Big Lake is where I would park my truck, and
what?
I would camp out there. Yeah, and I had to throw the white flag after week 2. And
you see some stuff.
It's Council Bluffs.
Yeah,
there's a lot of crackhead activity.
It was on the news the other night. Somebody got knifed or shot over there, right by Big Lake. I know exactly where that is.
Yeah, and
so you were sleeping in your truck, by Big Lake, where you go. People are known to go buy drugs.
The police saw about
in hookers.
Yeah, so about like 2 weeks in, it was about 3-4 in the morning. Someone starts pounding on my door or my window of my truck, and I freak out.
Yeah,
and it turns out to be a cop. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And I was like, "Well, I just kind of told him what was going on." He's like, "Well, you've been here the last 2 weeks. This truck's been here the last 2 weeks. Like I'll find a place." So I bit the bullet and rented a hotel room for the night.
So basically, your wife was right.
Yeah, I guess
you were homeless.
I was.
You were a bum. No, I'm kidding. But no, that's such a funny story.
She could probably tell it better.
That's great. All right. Well, Ted, what do you think? This is such a great story. And again, what I love about it is it highlights the pain points and the successes along the way of, pushing through, figuring out a way to do it. House hacking, obviously 11X for you. And you scaled into multifamily. You're one of the very, very few people that I know that have existed and been able to pay for their lifestyle expenses strictly off of cash flow through your rental portfolio. That's not very common at all. I couldn't do it. They're like back, even back then, you did the hard road and you're now reaping the benefits of it. So I love your story, man.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Badass.
Thanks.
So we do have a final section here of the pod that we call the
OT with Owen and Ted.
And we're maintaining this name.
Yeah, I really wanted to keep something that, from the OG.
Yeah, it's kind of a relic from days past. But we've got some questions for you that we're going to fire away.
All new questions for the listeners.
All new, except for
some tweaks.
Yes.
So
the first question is what we call failing forward. And you get by the name of the question here. What happened in that time frame or since you got started in this that was in hindsight a failure, but you learned some really valuable lessons along the way?
One of the stories that comes to mind is when I met my wife, we bought a fixer-upper house to move into. We were staying at her mom's for the time being when we were dating. So
that sounds fun.
Yeah. I mean, it was an upgrade from where I was coming from.
Did you guys have to sleep in separate?
It wasn't
bedrooms?
A truck.
It wasn't a truck, and it wasn't an air mattress. So
was she like, you guys staying in separate bedrooms?
We had the basement to ourselves. Yeah, we had the basement.
I remember when I was dating my now wife, when we were even engaged, her parents were like, you guys stay the night for Christmas. That was like their thing.
Mhm.
They celebrate in the morning. Okay. And like, no, but you guys got to sleep in different rooms.
Well, yeah, and it's a Hispanic family, so like we were gonna get our own place, but her mom's like, no, if you're gonna be dating, you're gonna be under my roof, type of thing. Yeah, so.
There you go. It must have
And it's
worked out.
close knit family. I got good food and
Yeah.
and
So the takeaway here is you.
I was reaping the benefits of my.
I love it.
So the house that we were remodeling, we were about a year in, and during that time we were still doing unit turns, managing the portfolio, preparing for a wedding. So we're about preparing for a wedding and doing a house remodel for where we're going to move into. Well, a month before we got done and about 2 months before our wedding, it caught fire.
Ooh.
Yeah, burned to the ground.
To
So
the ground.
not to the ground, but it was in flames and it was toasted.
Wow, what happened?
A total lot. So when my brother and I, we were staining the hardwood floors, and using oil-based stain, and the rag that I used to clean up the stain, I folded it up, set it on the kitchen counter, went home for the night, and got a call the next morning from our neighbors saying, "Hey, your house is smoke's coming out of your house right now." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And yeah, so
the rag was combustible?
they said it spontaneously combusted.
What?
Wow.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't know either. And then they kind of explained what happened. I was like, and the insurance called me and said, what happened? I'm like, well, does insurance cover stupidity? He's like, matter of fact, we do.
So what I'm picturing is the fumes collected and kind of built up in the house, and then some like the furnace kicked on, or the like the AC.
No, we had all that off.
Okay.
All that off, and the rag, I guess it was a big rag, but I think it caught the ceiling on fire, and then it spread. The flames got high enough because it was like not a rag, it was a towel.
Okay.
Yes, but
So you're like, I'm just going to soak this towel in a combustible substance and then just take off.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but I would never think
That's good failing
I
forward.
never would think that would happen.
no, I didn't either. I folded it up and put it on a granite countertop. Like, what in the world? And first thing I'm thinking is electrical.
Yeah.
Right. And then I guess the failing forward would be make sure to dispose of that rag properly.
You'll never do that again. That is for
No,
sure.
not a year's worth of work and $30,000 in, and now we're staying in our mom's basement for another year.
Only if your superpower was going back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the next question is, what is your superpower? Like, what is the thing that you feel you're the best at and separates you from other people?
Or what is your best attribute?
I mean, I guess the best attribute I think I have is just grit, not giving up, and just no quit attitude, I guess, would probably be.
I would say you are living proof of that. Yeah, 11 house hacks. I'm just blown away by the 11 house hacks.
Yeah, we won't be doing that anymore. But,
Chapter
I
closed.
gotta start. And we always tell people when we're rookies, like, how should we start? House hack.
you're eliminating your biggest expense, and then you're working on your second biggest expense is taxes, because you start the depreciation clock, and you open the door to being a professional whatever landlord to where now you can get benefits.
Yeah.
Open the door for more tax benefits.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. So next question, a little lighter, is if you were going to write a book, what do you think the title or topic would be about?
Probably what not to do.
What not to do?
What not to do in real estate and maybe in life. Yeah.
Okay. So highlight examples of mistakes you've made,
Yes.
choices you made along the way that you would do differently in hindsight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. And we could co-author it.
Yeah.
I'll give you all the credit though. I get the royalties.
In honor of, what the show's all about, grind, growth, and legacy. What is your legacy? How do you hope to be remembered in the end?
I hope, I guess, to be remembered. I mean, that I did good and that I worked hard. I mean,
Something you hopefully can pass on.
yeah, hopefully someone can pass on to my children someday.
Well, children will be your legacy too at some point.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to think about right now because I don't have children yet, but hopefully someday down the road we will.
I don't think you're going to be house hacking when you have.
No,
kids running
my
around.
wife definitely put an end to that. Like, we're not doing that anymore.
Okay, we've talked a little bit about this, but do you have anything right now that is occupying a lot of your interest, or something that you are really looking to do, gearing up for, anything like that on the horizon nearby?
Yeah, like I talked about, when me and my wife talked about the portfolio, we want to transition on one side, on the residential side, scaling with quality single family rentals. And then on the commercial side, apartment side, we want to eventually do a 1031 and
Get into something pretty big that's going to.
well, not necessarily big, but like something easier to manage, like to not have much hassle factor.
Mhm.
I feel like, so to where we can add in some help.
like storage units.
There we go.
Nice.
I mean, what attracts you to the storage units?
No toilets, no plumbing, no
No tenants.
no tenants.
I
Yeah.
mean, you do have tenants in a way, but you don't have to treat them with white gloves.
Yeah.
You got tenant stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of why I've been.
I mean, I haven't dug too deep into it. Like, I guess I got the book on Bigger Pockets of or AJ Osborne's book.
Have you listened to the podcast we did with him?
I don't think so.
You should. It was really good. Probably about 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's probably about right. Yeah, it was a good one. All right, Dylan, one last question for you. Is there anything you're looking for in your business or life right now where somebody catching this episode might be able to hook you up, connect you with somebody, give you a referral, any problem points in your business or stuff you want people to know about you?
I mean, I'm always looking for contractors, handymen. Like I said, looking for some larger apartment deals.
Mm-hmm. Ones that I'm interested in.
Ones
that you're
probably
from me.
I don't know about that. 51503 area code, single family residence.
Yeah.
Yep, that's kind of what we're looking for. And then you can find me on Facebook, I guess, and
Yeah. Nowhere else.
nowhere else.
Nowhere else.
And what is your Facebook handle?
Dylon Leslie. I
Okay.
don't know.
What do you think it's going to be? It's
Well,
Facebook.
I didn't know if you had
It's not Twitter.
if you had a business page or anything on there. So
Oh, okay. Sorry, I blew up.
come on, man. He's so quick and short tempered with me.
All right. Well, speaking of short tempered, I want to see how you handle this outro.
Yeah, well, Dylan, thank you for coming on the podcast. We really appreciate it and taking the time to come in. I know you're a little nervous, but I think you kind of shook that all off pretty quick, right? But great story. I think people are really going to resonate with you. The house hacking is a phenomenal way to get into the investing. If you listen to us, I mean, that is the grind right there. So,
Dude, you know what? Hang on real quick. I think we need to send Craig Kurlop a message to have you on his podcast. No, for real.
Really?
And because he wrote the book on house hacking. We've had him on here. We've both been on his.
Okay.
He would love your story. We're going to make this happen. Let's get that done.
Yeah, we're okay with that.
Yeah. Now that
great
we
guy.
took your podcast virginity here, your PV, you're on to bigger and better stuff. You're probably going to create your own podcast and blow past us.
Oh no.
But
Yeah, with that, Owen Dashner, we see us out.
on behalf of Aiden Bear and Ted Kaasch, I'm Owen Dashner, and you're listening to Dylan. I promise I'm not homeless. I'm just a house hacker, Leslie, on the Kash and Dash Show.
Sign off.
This is what happens.
Say the
behind the scenes.
names. This
Okay.
is Owen Dashner, and you've been listening to Kash and Dash Show.
Okay, this doesn't work at all. Hang on. How's this going to work? I'm going to have Aiden Bear re-radio, not re-radio. Wow, I didn't even think about this. Okay. On behalf of Aiden Bear, Ted Kaasch, and
Owen Dashner.
This is so clunky. On behalf, there's gonna be so many bloopers. On behalf, I can't do this. Aiden, help!
Man.
All right, come on. I don't know what my problem is. This is so hard. On behalf of